If you like something nice, fruity, and pretty cool, subscribe to Gnome's Tavern. Welcome, Cocktail Corner. I'm the Gnome, and this is Gnome's Tavern, and we're here with another great cocktail for you today. Now, I'm doing another great collaboration with Mike's Hard Review and several other YouTubers like Kill DeVille, Cocktails Underground, The Calm Scribe, Better Avid Bourbon, and if I forgot your name, I'm sorry, I'll put you down below. And it was a Negroni. You had to make a Negroni. Now, I've made Negronis in my sleep. Literally, you can ask my wife. But instead of just doing a regular old Negroni, it had to be Negroni riff. And there was 2 rules. Well, 3. First rule, must use a bitter liqueur. And as you can tell by the way I'm dressed, I know a thing or two about bitter liqueurs. And we're putting some malort in. I haven't done it in a while. So Doc, here you go. Doc's always asking for more malort videos. So here you go, Doc. Rule number 2, must be named after a historical person. So I've got a historical person. Not someone I really want to, honor, but it goes with the cocktail. And the third thing is all of my fellow friends and myself are going to remake this cocktail. So, in the tradition of the great bartenders up north, I am going to trick the other YouTuber bartenders into drinking malort in this cocktail.
This is a mistake! I agreed by accident!
You can't agree by accident. There's a fail-safe built in.
So let's see if we can make some more malort fans here with this challenge. Now, the cocktail is going to be named after H.H. Holmes. I wanted to name it after a Chicago person. I just named it after the shittiest Chicago person. H.H. Holmes is a serial killer from Chicago, and he was, from what I understand, because my wife and I did a ghost tour, which next time I do a live show, ask me about it. I have a funny story about this ghost tour. And they were kind of telling us that he was in medical school and realized he could make more money by selling bodies to science. And he is most famously known for making a murder house, they call it the murder castle, where he would kind of convince homeless people and visitors to go into this house, and it had different shoots. The first time I really heard about this was in American Horror Story, the one with Lady Gaga. I actually liked that season. A lot of people weren't fancy, really liked that season. I really like any season with Kathy Bates in it. But anyway, not to get on a tangent. He was later caught and hung in Philadelphia, and there's no real knowing how many people he killed because he was a huge liar, and some people he claimed that he killed were actually still alive or died at a different time, and then some people he didn't claim he killed, there was evidence. So it was really hard to pinpoint it, but H.H. Holmes is going to be this cocktail's name. We're going all left field, so let's go dive into the cocktail. All right, so for this Negroni, we are going to do a stirred cocktail, and it usually has 3 parts. It is gin, aperitif, and vermouth, but I'm going to switch out one of those components, I guess 2, because then, some people will call malort aperitif, but we're going to do 3/4 of an ounce of malort, or if you have one of those little bottles, just dump that whole little bottle in there and thank me later. So I think malort, you have to have Stockholm syndrome, so that's I was going to be the other name I was going to call it, but they have the historical part of it. I was also going to call it Fat Kid in Kmart, but I couldn't find a historical fat kid from Kmart. But then we're going to do an ounce of barreled aged gin. This is the gin I help produce. So I'm going to use this gin. So a whole ounce of barreled aged gin. And then because I made Mike buy a whole bottle of this, and I have not seen him play too much around with it, I'm going to force him to keep making cocktails with Creme De Cassis. And we're going to do an ounce of Creme De Cassis. The reason why I say it funny is because the guy who taught me how to do cocktails and is one of my teachers used to make fun of me how I said cookies and say, "You'd have to teach people cookies." And that I do with this channel. Oh no, that's great. I ate 3/4 of a pint of ice cream before shooting this, so I'm very hyper and very excited to make this drink. So let's stir it up and pour it out. Bam. All right. See, that's why I kind of named it after a serial killer because it's like a blood red. And now we're gonna peel. This is a cool little trick I learned from at work. Cheese peelers are the best peelers for cocktails. They make a perfect square. They're a little bit safer when you have to peel like 30 of them. But yeah, look, they make like a perfect that peel is. And then I'm gonna rub it around this glass. And then we're going to give it a nice little twist. Sometimes if your lemons are too cold with a cheese peeler, I find it's hard to do a twist. I also really suck at garnishes, so that could be probably more me than the cheese peeler. But anyway, let's give it a try. Make sure you have a nice small glass because there's not as much liquid, but let's see. You get the gin and the fruitiness, and then that malort just comes right at you. And I think it's a really good thing of H.E. Holmes. It gives you that nice, warm, bright invitation, and then it hits you really hard. Yeah, it's I like it, but I also drink a lot of malort, and I really have a really bitter palate, so I really like it. This is actually my second one I'm having today, and it's pretty good. I think if you're not used to malort, you probably won't like it because the malort taste is very powerful. But I really do like this. Nice, fruity, and pretty cool. But anyway, if you like, I was about to say, if you like someone nice, fruity, and pretty cool, subscribe to Gnome's Tavern and leave a comment down below. Oh man, I would leave it on that, but you should always tip your bartender. Cheers, y'all.